Okay, now Sylvia had truly lost it. She was in a really bad rhyming phase of her delusion. She turned back to the living room when she heard a grunt from his bedroom that stimulated every hormone known to man. That grunt was exertion. That grunt was a man working. That grunt needed a groan with a purpose. The hormones raced, and Sylvia practically sprinted into Matthias's bedroom, but didn't see him. It took a minute for her to find him in the air above his bathroom door. He had a pull-up bar mounted in the door frame, and he was doing dips to strengthen his triceps. Sylvia used the door jamb to hold herself up, and she almost fainted at the sight of his tensed muscles. His shirt was off, and there was a light misting of sweat covering his chocolate-colored skin. Matthias had been so focused he hadn't seen his observer at first, but when he did, he dropped to the ground and stood facing Sylvia. The cut of his abdomen muscles had an 8, not 6-pack, with the beautiful V at his hips. He was in workout shorts that hung off his ass with such perfection, Sylvia began to regret the thought of ripping them off his body. Best of all, the tattoo with Cherie's name had been removed. As she let out the air in her lungs, her bottom lip trembled, and Matthias took a step toward her. "Did you need another blanket?" he asked as Sylvia forgot how to speak. Stumbling through her mind, she felt like Ralphie asking Santa for a Red Ryder BB gun. "No, I was thinking," Sylvia began as she tried to control herself enough not to ask if he had a set of handcuffs around. "Are you the damn model for Batman's suit?" "Huh?" Sylvia composed herself by closing her eyes. But even then she couldn't help thinking of Matthias's tight chest and what she could do with a can of whipped cream. "I will probably never see you again after tonight," Sylvia said as quickly as she could. Strangely, her voice hit about 5 octaves higher than she was hoping for. Sylvia looked at Matthias's face and prayed he would show some glimmer of, "Oh no, I'm going to bring a priest over in the morning to marry us immediately." Okay, that fantasy wasn't going to happen, she thought. Matthias stood steadfast and a little bit confused. "Okay, so what does it matter if you think I'm a trick? Because whether we sleep together or not, we'll never be together after tonight, so I might as well go for it, so to speak." Sylvia swallowed hard and nibbled on her lips, hoping he didn't bust out laughing. To her surprise, he looked at her and started to speak, but then stopped. He seemed to be trying to work out something in his mind. In one giant step, he cradled her head in his hand and kissed her in a way that shook her to the core. The passion between his lips sent her into a frenzy. She wrapped her arms around his neck for support, and she tasted the sweetness still on his tongue as it gently stroked hers. With his other hand, he lovingly glided down her back, and when he squeezed her ass, she fell against his firm body. She could feel the wet heat building in her core, and the groan she wanted to hear from him came out of her instead. He finally released, and she held tight to his flexed biceps as she slowly opened her eyes. "You let me kiss you," he said with a smile. "Yeah, I guess I did." Matthias released her quivering body, causing her to brace herself against the wall to stop from falling over. "That's all I wanted." Matthias knew how to maintain his cool in a game, to block out the taunts of the other players on the floor, even shit talk with the best of them in the league. But the crap that came out of him at that moment was pure player shit. All he wanted was a kiss. Bullshit. He wanted to lay Silly down on his bed and feel every inch of her body. He wanted to spread her thighs, taste his way to her center, and find out how many licks it took. But if there was one thing he learned tonight, Silly had a vision of him. And even if it was a fallacy, until he could show her the beauty he saw in her cool blue eyes, she never would fully surrender to him. Silly's skin paled, then blushed as she turned in embarrassment. Matthias caught her wrist and spun her back into his body. With one caress of the back of his hand to her cheek, he wanted to kick himself for playing games with something as important as her heart. With his finger, he lifted her chin and saw tears in her eyes. They hadn't fallen yet. "You know I'm bullshitting." "No, I don't." "I'm sorry, silly girl." "Don't cry," he said, and to his surprise she held her tears in. She was so strong. He knew he had to write this. "Whether we do this today or never, I still want you around." Matthias could see the trepidation in her eyes, and part of him just wanted to hold her all night to prove his point. He'd take the ache in his groin to prove to her that she was what he was interested in, not just her body.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.